scores. Rolling it back and in. And it's another for Sam. The rain's going to continue. And now they're knocking on Dynasty's doorstep. The Florida Panthers back-to-back Stanley Cup champions.
The clock struck 0 in Sunrise, and just like that, Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl, the best duo of their generation, watched another team skate away with the Stanley Cup.
The takeaway is that we didn't win. Nobody cares. Like, nobody cares. We didn't win, so gonna try again next year.
10 years together, hundreds of goals, numbers this league hasn't seen in decades, and yet no parade, no banner, just silence.
Take us through what you think happened tonight. Why you guys won a little bit?
Lost to a really good team. Nobody quit. Nobody threw the towel in. They're a heck of a team. You know, the Stanley Cup champions back-to-back for a reason.
Before the final horn, there was the unraveling. One goal, then another, then another. The climb halted, one step short of the summit. For McDavid and Draisaitl, this is the story that keeps repeating. A dynasty's numbers without the dynasty's crown. Because now, the question is no longer if they can do it. The question is if they'll still be doing it together. Draisaitl is locked in. 8 years, $112 million. McDavid, unrestricted free agent in 2026. The league knows it, the media knows it, and the clock is ticking. But before we can answer what comes next, we need to go back to Cologne, to Richmond Hill, to the prodigy and the powerhouse, to the moment destiny pulled them together. This isn't just a story of two players, it's a story of two paths that became one.
Behind the net, Draisaitl, and he scores! By Kane, and now McDavid, what a spin, the recovery, the shot to score! Connor McDavid down the one-timer, Draisaitl shoots and scores! Here's Draisaitl finding McDavid, he's in, backhand score! Bouchard directs back, Nugent options across, McDavid loading up, inside, Draisaitl scores! Missed, took a couple penalties, this will lead to a breakaway, Connor McDavid in on Thompson, backhand score!
Leon Tim Draisaitl was born in Cologne, Germany in 1995. The son of Peter Draisaitl, a legend of German hockey. While most kids his age were kicking a football, Leon had a stick in his hands. By 16, he was tearing apart the German Development League, 56 points in 35 games, and named Player of the Year.
Up by Elliott, McDavid has a chance in front, look at that move, oh baby! That's what they came for this afternoon, folks! Here, and he does get a pass for him, and here's McDavid, short-handed, on a breakaway, found on his feet, McDavid scores! When you see this guy coming at you full speed, forget it.
McDavid gaining speed, McDavid sweeps to the middle, McDavid, a shot, they score! What a setup, Connor McDavid got it across, and Alex DeBrincat, the one who finished it.
2 years later, and half a world away, Connor McDavid was already being called the next one. A prodigy from Richmond Hill, Ontario. At just 15, he'd been granted exceptional status to play in the Ontario Hockey League. And in Erie, he didn't just live up to the hype, he rewrote it. As Leon crossed the Atlantic to join the Prince Albert Raiders, McDavid was putting up 99 points in his second OHL season. One, a German import carving his path in Canada. The other, a Canadian kid already anointed hockey's future. Two stories on separate tracks, but both leading to the NHL.
The Edmonton Oilers are very pleased to select from the Western Hockey League Prince Albert Raiders, Leon Draisaitl.
Edmonton called Leon first, third overall in 2014, making him the highest drafted German-trained player in history. And just 1 year later, the Oilers landed McDavid.
The Edmonton Oilers would like to select with their first pick from the Erie Otters, Connor McDavid.
First overall, the savior, the captain in waiting, for a franchise starved of greatness, destiny had finally delivered. As fate would have it, Leon's own draft class came back to haunt him. Aaron Ekblad, Sam Reinhart, Sam Bennett, all top 4 picks in 2014. A decade later, they weren't just rivals, they were the Panthers driving the dagger into Edmonton's dream.
It goes. David Perron gives chase. He's loose. They have a man. What a save! Marino, they score! The first NHL goal for Leon Draisaitl.
Leon arrived in Edmonton a year before McDavid, scoring his first NHL goal in 2014. But it wasn't until 2015, when McDavid walked across the draft stage, that the Oilers' future came into focus.
He pushes it ahead. Here is McDavid. McDavid trying to split the defense. McDavid, what a play! What a goal! Oh my! Connor McDavid, welcome back!
Connor's rookie year brought flashes of brilliance and a broken collarbone that cost him half the season. While McDavid healed, Draisaitl stepped up. 19 goals, 51 points. A hint of what was coming.
Shot knocked down, and here's a breakaway. Stepping in, big chance, scores! Does Don score? And now here's a break from center ice. Slepyshev in, scores! Anton Slepyshev makes it 2-0 Edmonton. And hauled down towards the net, scores! With 0.3 seconds to go.
By 2017, the Oilers were back in the playoffs for the first time in a decade. Powered by McDavid's speed and Leon's strength, Edmonton stunned San Jose. Draisaitl's hat trick in Game 6 against Anaheim was the exclamation point. For the first time in years, it felt real. The climb had begun. What followed was dominance, unlike anything the NHL had seen in decades. McDavid, Art Ross trophies, a 153-point season, Hart memorials. Draisaitl, the first German to win MVP, multiple 50-goal campaigns, the Rocket Richard in 2025. Together, they redefined what a duo could be. Not since the days of Gretzky and Curry, or Lemieux and Jagr, have two players scored more combined points over a 6-season period than Connor and Leon. Not Crosby and Malkin, not Kane and Taves. Edmonton had the most explosive 1-2 punch in the league. They did it through injuries too. In 2022, Leon played on a high ankle sprain, barely able to skate, and still set playoff records. McDavid's 33 points in 16 games that spring tied Wayne Gretzky. It wasn't just skill, it was will. But climbing the mountain isn't easy. Colorado swept them in 2022. Vegas knocked them out in 2023.
Final 10 seconds here.
For McDavid, there is Draisaitl. Watched carefully by Lindell. Across to McDavid. Moves to the outside. Flips his way. What a goal! Wow! 1-0 Edmonton.
Games 1, 2, and 3 didn't go Edmonton's way. For the first time all spring, real adversity had arrived, and it hit hard. On the brink of elimination and staring down the possibility of being swept out of their very first Stanley Cup Final, in Game 4, something changed.
A center pass and Sean scores on the scores. What a beauty! Dylan with the Cloud scores.
Just like that, the Oilers were back in the series.
Maybe a break. It's Connor Brown in alone, looking for Shorty. Scores! Another short-handed goal, and the Oilers.
Game 5. Back in Sunrise, the Oilers stared down elimination once again. Florida struck first, but Edmonton answered with relentless pace. Connor and Leon kept pressing, chipping away until the Panthers cracked. In a hostile building, the Oilers clawed out a gray win. History still alive.
McDavid has done it again. Draisaitl working in. Leon Draisaitl in front. Scores! Lauren Vogel.
Game 6. Now back home in Edmonton, the pressure flipped. The crowd was electric, sensing something special. From the opening puck drop, the Oilers overwhelmed Florida, tilting the ice and never letting up. A 5-1 rout forced the impossible. Game 7, with all the momentum, suddenly on Edmonton's side.
All the marbles and the...
Game 7. Everything on the line. The climb, the legacy, the chance to complete the impossible. For Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl, it all came down to 60 minutes in Sunrise. One game to define everything.
Deflected in front, and Florida scores! Matthias Jannik scores!
In the end, the Oilers' miracle run fell just short. But for all the talk of heartbreak, this duo has already carved out triumphs that fans will never forget. Because their story isn't only about the losses, it's about the moments where Connor and Leon pushed the Oilers higher than anyone thought possible. For all the talk of heartbreak, this duo has already carved out triumphs that Oilers fans will never forget. Battle of Alberta 2022. A playoff war with Calgary that felt bigger than a round. It was pride, history, and rivalry rolled into one. Connor McDavid sealed the series in overtime, a dagger in Saddle Dome silence, and a ticket to their first Western Conference Final together. That same year, Edmonton finally broke through the second-round barrier. For the first time in Connor and Leon's careers, they were playing for a shot at the Cup. The run ended against Colorado, but the message was clear: the Oilers were coming. Even outside the NHL stage, Connor McDavid showed he could carry a nation. In February 2025, during the inaugural Four Nations face-off, Canada and the United States met in a final that tested more than just skill. McDavid scored 8:18 into overtime to deliver the championship, a 3-2 OT win at the TD Garden. It was his first international best-on-best goal since 2016, and in that moment, he reminded everyone what it meant to lead on any ice. Success isn't absent from their story. The numbers, the awards, the highlight reels, they already belong to hockey history. But for Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl, the question has never been, can they dominate? It has always been, can they finish the climb? Because time is the enemy now. Draisaitl is signed through 2033, the richest contract in league history. McDavid, free agent in 1 year. The NHL is watching. Rival GMs are dreaming, and Edmonton knows the window could close as fast as it opened. For Oilers fans, it's a familiar tension. The greatest player in the world, one of the greatest duos ever, and the possibility that it could all end before the summit is reached. Together, they have carried Edmonton from the basement to the brink. Together, they have turned numbers into history. But the cup still hasn't come. This isn't the story of a curse. It's the story of a climb. And for McDavid, Draisaitl, and many of their teammates and families, the mountain is still there, waiting. The only question left, do they reach the peak together, or does the story end here?